Our project today is to find out how much power we can make out of this thing. That is a 2003 5.7 liter Hemi. This is the base Hemi. It doesn't have variable valve timing or anything like that. It's the model that they used in 2003 to 2008. You'll find it in trucks and cars. It should be the cheapest Gen 3 Hemi that you can find in a junkyard if you're looking to do something like this. But we needed it to make more power than its stock rating of 345 horsepower and 375 pound-feet of torque. But the short block we're using is completely stock, right down to the 9.6:1 compression ratio. The heads are also stock. However, they have been ported by SRT. Yeah, Steve got his hands on a really early set of sort of skunkworks heads from them, but it should be very similar to what you can find from like modern cylinder heads or other porters today. These headers are from TTI, and they're actually engine swap headers to put this into an A body, like a Duster or something like that. Up top, we're running the Mopar 4-barrel single plane intake manifold. And you know what? I don't really recommend it. That thing is $900. And the fact is, you can make a better torque curve if you run like a stock truck intake manifold that has longer runners. And for EFI, we're running Holley's HP setup. We're gonna install this Paxton Novi 1500 supercharger. It's kind of a small centrifugal blower, but it is capable of making 825 horsepower, even though I don't think we're gonna see that much on the Hemi today. But we are gonna hang this thing on the motor using some pieces that are sort of cobbled together from a kit that would be for a Dodge Ram truck or a Chrysler 300 car or something like that. And we're gonna use the intercooler from that kit as well. Now, an intercooler is needed because anytime you have a supercharger and you're making boost, whether it's a turbo or a centrifugal or even a roots blower, you're compressing air. That's what the boost measurement really is a measurement of compressed air. When you compress air, you make heat. And when you make heat in the inlet charge, you stand to actually lose power at the engine. So we want to cool it down with this air-to-water intercooler. This thing is pretty dinky. It just uses some water circulated through the coolant system, but it's better than nothing. This is also from the kit that came off that car. And we're blowing directly through a carburetor-style hat, which is going to go on the EFI throttle body on our motor. How much rubber's on it?
Well, you can see all kinds of dust and debris from this belt heating itself up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So what we're gonna do is try to put a little sticky stuff on the belt, and hopefully that'll grip the pulley a little bit better and let it spin up all the way to 7 grand. What do you think?
You want 700 horsepower,
I want
don't
it.
you?
Yeah, let's see what it'll do. Huh?
Not happening.
Not going there?
No.
All right. Look, you're firing it up.
The fuel's not on though.
Yeah.
So run it. You're looking for 700, right?
Yeah, I want 7.
Nosed over right at the top. I saw it climb. I almost saw 11.
I
and then
wanted to, but it just couldn't get there.
couldn't do it.
Yeah.
No.
What do you do about that?
You put a cog belt on it.
And then you don't have any problems anymore, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I think your goop didn't work.
Well, that's all I had to work with.
Oh, look at that. Oh, Dulcich. I thought you were the engine master.
I needed the VHT.
That's the wrong goop.
Yeah, that was the WD-40. What else you got?
There is stuff to learn here. For example, notice that this has got a centrifugal supercharger on it, which unlike a turbo especially, or in some cases a roots blower, is not making as much boost in the lower RPM range as it is up here, which is why the gap in horsepower gain reduces the lower that the RPM is. But you don't really care, because in the end you're making a zillion more horsepower than you are naturally aspirated.
Yeah, in this particular application, being a hypereutectic piston and kind of a weaker rod, that may be better to have a little less power and a little less boost way down, a little below peak torque with no engine speed.
Well, that's another thing a lot of people don't realize is that, like, making big cylinder pressure at low RPM punishes the motor more than making it at high RPM, and that's all about time. You're spending more time at top dead center at lower RPM than you are at higher RPM. This time we are gonna hop up a Junkyard Joule Mopar 360. Dulcich, do you think we can make 400 horsepower with this thing?
Oh, yeah.
What we're gonna do on this episode is run it stock and then start throwing some speed parts at it to see how much power you can make with a Junkyard Joule. First up, throw it on the dyno and run it with Thermoquad. Will this thing even make 200 horsepower? I don't think so.
When you've got a worn out old engine like this Mopar 360, you might think that the oil doesn't matter at all, but I'm here to tell you it might matter more. We chose Z-Rod 2050 motor oil. It's a thick, high viscosity formula that'll soak up and sop up some of the bearing clearances and worn out rings. It's also the high zinc formula. This engine has a flat tappet cam. It's probably on the edge of worn out as it is. This might make it last long enough to make 400 horsepower with this old Mopar small block. Let's see if I can get that as good as Freiburger. Oh, made a mess.
Yay for us! 200 horsepower from 360 cubic inches. You know, that takes a talent. Not everybody can do that. It was horrible. So we're gonna throw the entire toolbox at this engine. Watch as we just raid the Summit catalog and hose it down with that Holley 750 double pumper, an Edelbrock RPM air gap dual plane intake manifold, and Edelbrock aluminum heads. Inside, we're gonna stuff in a Comp Cam's hydraulic flat tappet. It's what's called a single pattern cam. That means it's got the same specs on the intake and on the exhaust lobes, and that is 480 lift, 231 degrees of duration at 50, and 110 degree lobe separation angle. The blow-by on this thing is getting pretty brutal, but it's still gonna make more power. Let's go find out exactly how much. What's your level of like annoyance at your Mopar failure right now?
Oh, I don't know. It could have a totally worn out and loose timing chain. It has no compression, has no cam. It really didn't have a chance to make horsepower the way it was.
Hot, hot, hot.
Whew. I don't know, Steve was calling this the worst engine that ever came through Westech Performance, but I think he might be just pulling my chain a little bit. You know, it wasn't that bad, right, Steve-O?
If that's what you want to go with, okay. But
Yeah,
no, it's
you know, that's just buddy kind of talk, kidding each other around, you know, really.
You know what this is really like?
Sure.
This is like, check out my new girlfriend, dude. She's hot, right?
And she's not.
Yeah.
Ooh, some Risto guy would give me like $500 for this.
Look at that.
The cam bearing?
The cam bearing. It's destroyed. Look, that is cam bearing right there.
Oh man, what do you think caused that?
Look, every single one of them is wiped out that bad. Look, there's a piece.
Oh, wow, look at that one.
Yeah, there's a piece of the cam bearing sitting on that connecting rod.
On the bright side, we've proved on Roadkill Garage that
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you don't really need the cam bearings that much.
The ring ridge on these is so much, I mean, the cylinders are funnel shaped. They've got at least 10 thousandths bore wear, which means the cylinders are like this, which means the ring seal is junk. And seriously, that cam bearing, I was willing to let go of the one on the Cleveland because it was kind of okay.
That's all flaking the bearing material
This
off.
one is way beyond that level of butchery. So, yeah, I blame you.
My fault again. I gotta be really gentle not to mar the cam bearings, right?
That is a $10 saddle on a $2 horse. This is kind of like Roadkill, where we throw really good parts on really junky cars.
Look at all that blow-by.
It could be getting water in the oil.
It's just completely worn out. Look at how much blow-by is going out the valve
I know.
cover.
I mean, look how nice the curve is, though.
Yeah.
I think we're done.
Completely done.
Completely. We haven't spun a rod bearing
You
yet.
guys are out of ideas already?
I don't know. Here's the good news and the bad news about this. Let's start with the good news. It made 140 more horsepower and 75 more pound-feet of torque. That's huge. It made 386 pound-feet of torque and 348 horsepower. That's the bad news. This thing should be making 30 more numbers than that on the horsepower range. The torque is not too embarrassing, but the thing is, it's just rolling over early. How much are you gonna go on this step?
I think we'll go up like 2 turns and kind of see where that is. That should give us another couple of pounds, and then you know, each is 30 or 35 horsepower pounds. So.
Tell everyone about, you know, wastegates, blow-off valves.
All right, well,
know,
we've
your
got
boost
stainless
controllers.
headers feeding a pair of turbos, because if one turbo is good, obviously two, yeah, twice as good. Each turbo is feeding a single intercooler, but it's a dual core, dual pass intercooler. We've got wastegates for each one of the turbos. Right now they're running on the springs. It's all controlled, and all we got to do is adjust our little bleed valve. As we do that, more boost, more fun, more power.
Explain, though, how the organized leak is going to increase boost pressure.
Okay, well, the way the wastegate works is it's supplied boost pressure. That opens the valve up, that allows exhaust to escape out, and that lowers the boost pressure. If we trick some of that flow by putting a metered leak in it, now it thinks, oh, I'm not getting as much boost, so therefore I have to stay closed longer, so then the boost goes up. So as we keep screwing that thing out, we get more and more leak, more and more boost.
Well, let's make the screw fall out. Also, we got an intercooler going on here with ice water flowing through it, and we're maintaining the ice at every pull. We're like dumping a new bag in, and you're gonna pull some of this water out so we can chill it down.
More ice, less water, more cool, more power. Should we adjust?
You can adjust.
All right.
Step 2, 2.5 more turns. That's it, go. I don't know what to tell you.
Nothing else to have.
Nothing else.
It's like 1150, so easy. I think we'll go 1200,
1250. Yeah, exactly. Picked up a pound and a half.
I didn't see the numbers. I was concentrating quite a bit on air fuel.
I was too. I was looking at
1200 and a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Step 2, 17.6 pounds of boost, 1,213 horsepower, 957 pound-feet of torque. Oh! Lost the intake. Okay, well, let's go have a peek at that. Major failure. I think we can fix it.
All right, this is what happens when you really crank the boost up. Blew the inlet tube off. So we took and welded some seams on here, so it's gonna hold better. So we'll put it back in, get back to dynoing.
This is going to be test 4. So close. 1,432.5 horsepower, 1,196 pound-feet of torque. Now's when we're actually kind of getting cautious. We got 1.5 more turns. We only need 50 horsepower, and you're pulling timing at peak torque in order to try and kill that, you know, peak cylinder pressure and make the thing live.
You can't take too much away, but it's down there. It's down there like 15, 16 degrees through peak torque.
Yeah, and you can't make it 10, right?
No.
So, okay, all right. All it needs is 50.
That was
Deep
sweet.
into the 1500s. Sweet.
Yeah. That was nice.
We just made 1,500 horsepower on a stock junkyard short block with the ring gaps opened up. Wow.